So, more Watches and Wonders 2022 coverage. Now, Rolex, unfortunately, only through the window, so to say. Looking at the novelties, I'm starting off with one of my favorites. The DayDate in Platinum, the 40mm DayDate now also comes with a fluted bezel, so Rolex was finally able to produce a fluted bezel also in Platinum, meaning the only way to distinguish a 40mm DayDate in Platinum from a white gold, from afar at least, is through the dial, because the light blue dials are exclusive to the Platinum versions. Now, they also introduced a new dial. Again, you know, a couple of years back, this wouldn't even be noteworthy, I guess. It's a flat green dial. I'm not sure if it's the same, but at least very similar to the green one available on the OP, on the Oyster Perpetuals. Now there they discontinued a couple of the so-called Stella dials, but the green one is still being offered, and I think this is quite similar to that one. I think this type of dial looked best on the yellow gold GMT, which was discontinued a while ago. So yeah, new dial color, no breakthrough innovations here. Now, moving on to the Yacht-Master, the 42mm Yacht-Master on an oyster strap was up until, well, before Watches and Wonders, only available in white gold. Now they added a yellow gold variation to it. So this is the Yacht-Master 42mm, bigger than obviously the other versions. Now the smaller versions are also available in other type of metals, but the 42, as I said, up until now only in white gold, and that's the watch you see here now on the right side, this exact one. And I think the more interesting introduction is the introduction of a new dial, a Falcon's Eye dial, which is basically Rolex again using a stone like meteorite or what have you to produce dials, and which is kind of interesting because for the most part Rolex sports models do come with quote-unquote simple black or white dials. So I think this looks kind of nice and gives it a little bit of a twist. Moving on, new Air King, and I said it before, a rising tide lifts all boats, so this is not really a watch that got too much attention in the past, neither from me or from others, but of course it has its own history and reason for existence. So what did they do? They changed a couple of things. They increased the symmetry of the dial by adding a 0 in front of the 5 at the 5-minute mark, but more importantly, they also introduced crown guards, which gives the watch quite a different look compared to the previous version. Now, the watch that everybody's been talking about, or still is talking about, the new GMT-Master II with the black and green bezel, but more importantly, with the crown on the left, and interestingly enough, also the date on the left side of the dial. So this is a watch for left-handed people, intended to be worn on the right wrist. What's my opinion? I liked that it did something for left-handed people, but in my book, I would have preferred if they maybe would have just introduced the BLRO, BLNR, or maybe even the black version for left-handed people, because I don't really see any precedence here with the black and green color combination for the GMT. But then again, the line of thought from Rolex was maybe to give the left-handed people maybe a gift, since they haven't had a watch for themselves in the past, so to say. Now, no novelties in regards to the with regards to the Daytona, but this is, you know, my favorite Rolex, and probably not just my favorite Rolex, but my favorite watch per se. Huge lineup. You see them all here. I think next year was probably, or will probably be the year where we're going to see a bit more change here, because next year the Daytona turns 60 years old. Now here you see some of the full gold models, yellow gold, white gold in the middle, and rose gold on the left. These are really sexy in my opinion. These watches, I really do like them. And then on the left side, and you don't see them all the time like this, right? On the left side here, you see the steel model in black and white. Nothing special, because nowadays you have all those exhibition only pieces at the dealers. Now, last novelties from Rolex. They introduced a new green dial for the Datejust in 36 and 41 and even 34. There was some debate whether the dial color would be the same between the 36 and the 41. I think it is. If you look at the 34, it looks a bit different, but I think this is really just a sunburst effect at play. So that's that. Unfortunately, only window shopping, so to say, but I hope you enjoyed it nevertheless.